of when he could bring his grain. Do you guys have any questions on this floor? Alright, we can go up to the third.
Do they still use that here? The blade communication thing just as a showy thing?
Every once in a while we'll put the decorations up, but we can't run the mill.
No, I mean,
So
just when they're not running it.
oh,
Do they ever use the...
I always see them in a T. I've never seen, well, a couple times she'll have them in an X. I think she just uses those two. But normally she's here, so normally they're in a T.
That's cool. Well, it'd be kind of cool when they weren't using it if they would do a different position each time.
We do. We don't use the specific, some of them are a little more specific. Well, this is our storage floor, and I'm sure you're wondering where those big bins are that we store our flour in. They're actually behind that locked door back there. We have to keep them back there because the bins are temperature controlled so the flour doesn't go bad, and also because we need to comply with the health code. Since we do sell the flour, we have to make sure that everything stays sanitary back there so that you know that you're purchasing a good product. But the miller wouldn't actually package flour how we package it today. He would use this system, which is a lot more simple. The flour would have fallen from the grindstones and just been sitting here in this chute. He could then open this partition, the flour would fall down, and he would package it off into big 50-pound bags like this one, tie it off with a rope, and send it back down the elevator shaft. Now the miller wouldn't do any of the sifting for the farmer because the farmer would have wanted that bran for his own livestock. So that would have been his job once he brought the flour home. Also on this floor we have many tools. These are all handmade iron cast tools that were brought over with the mill. I just want to point out a couple of them because there are quite a few. And I feel that these are the most interesting. This right here is one of 28 rollers. These are found up in the top cap of the windmill. These are important because they allow us to turn that top cap 360 degrees so we can position the blades in the direction of the wind. So they don't actually allow the blades to turn, but what they do is they turn that top cap. So if we need the blades to be facing north and they're facing south, we can do that. Now this right up here is a builder's plate, and you can tell it's a builder's plate because it will have the builder's name and the city that he was from right on this portion here. And it came out from the gallery up on the 4th floor. You'll notice at the top there's a nice little hole. That's actually a bullet hole. During World War II, this windmill was used as a lookout in the Netherlands for soldiers. So many pieces of the mill were damaged that way when the mill was brought over.
Okay, so you have to put a keyhole.
Yep, and if you take a look on your way up the path when you're approaching the windmill, underneath that window, it looks like a long bench. It's a metal piece, and it's a piece of the original blades, and it's very, very damaged from bullet holes. But we do like to showcase these pieces because they are a valuable piece of history. So, do you guys have any questions on this floor?
No.
No? You guys are quiet. Alright, well you can follow me up to the front. If you guys will take a look around now, you'll see that we are no longer in our brick tower. We're now surrounded by wood. This wood is Norwegian fir wood. About 80% of the wood is all the original wood that was brought over with the mill. When they first built the mill in the Netherlands, it took them about 8 years to totally construct it. And when they brought it back over here to Holland, it only took them 8 months to put it back together. They used a system of Roman numerals, which you'll notice if you look at the edges of the support beams, like this one over here. There's a 5 carved in the edge, and that one over there is pretty easy to see. There's a 3, so they're all numbered. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on, so that they could fit everything back together like a big jigsaw puzzle. And it created a lot less confusion. Now, part of this floor that is not original is the floor, and also this staircase. The miller would not use this type of staircase because it would take up too much space. So back here is a ladder type set of stairs, and that's what the miller would have used. Now this floor is called the milling floor because the milling process is regulated here on this floor. Right above my head are our grindstones, so when we're grinding, the flour falls down through this chute. The miller can stick her hand in there, pull out some of the flour, and what she tests is the consistency. she's not happy with the consistency of her flour, she comes over here to these weights. These weights are connected to the grindstones up on the 5th floor. By moving the weights up, it'll move the top stone closer to the bottom stone and make a finer consistency of flour. And by pulling the weights down, it'll pull the top stone further apart from the bottom stone and make the flour more coarse. Do you guys have any questions on this floor? Alright, you can follow me out. Let's go this way. Go up to the gallery.
That one feels good. You get a shot of that view.
Here, our organ. Alright. If I can have everybody look up for me. There's a big green band just above that red stripe. Everything above that green band is on those rollers that I showed you down on the 3rd floor. So that top cap is the portion that will rotate 360 degrees. Saying that, it means in theory we could put these blades where this wheel is, and then the wheel would actually be on the other side. How we do that is by turning this wheel. This wheel is called the capstan wheel. So it's pretty easy to remember with the cap and the capstan wheel. The miller will step on these pegs like a ladder, and that will get the wheel to turn. As it turns, it winds in this cable cord that you see in the center, and will bring it closer to this peg on the other side. Once it gets as close as it can to that floorboard, she'll remove it, unwind the cable, and move it over to the next floorboard and do the same thing. So it moves in increments along the exterior of the gallery. It takes her about 30 to 40 minutes to do a 180, so to put the blades over on this side. When the blades are positioned correctly, she'll take this long chain, and if you follow that up, it's connected to a long white board. By moving that board over to the right, the pressure on the brake band will be released and the blades will begin to turn. And then when she wants to stop the blades, she'll take that chain back, move it over into the left position like it's in now, and that will put pressure on the brake band and stop our blades from turning. Do you guys have any questions about the cap? Does that make sense how it turns? Alright, good. We can head over to the blades. They're about 6 feet wide and they're 80 feet long, but there's only 2 blades. There's not 4, although they are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. They only come apart in 2 pieces. So that whole length is about 80 feet. Altogether, they weigh 6,600 pounds, so they're pretty heavy. From the tip of the blade to the bottom of the mill is equivalent to a 12-story building, so it's around 120 feet. In order to turn our blades, we need about 10 to 15 mile per hour winds, and in order to grind, we need 20 to 25 mile per hour winds. So our miller will operate our mill and run the blades even when she's not grinding. Now, those of you who started off your tour with me and you saw that shutter with the tulip on it, that would not fit on a blade like this. This blade is way too big. So we have our modern day shutter system. These green boards can be slid out or slide back in, and that will do the same thing, allow more or less wind to pass through the blades to speed them up or slow them down. We also have our pieces of canvas that you see wound along the back, and these are called sails. Our miller will harness herself and climb up this lattice structure and attach the sails, and what they do is they allow the blades to catch more wind at one time so they can get moving a little quicker. Generally, the blades will turn at 7 rotations per minute, which will turn the grindstones at about 60 rotations per minute. Do you guys have any questions about the blades? Okay, we can head on up to the 5th floor.